system of ethics emphasizes the consequences of actions. Utilitarianism is consequentialist. This means that moral value of action and decisions is based solely or greatly on the usefulness of results. Usefulness that determines whether the action or behavior is good or bad. Bentham Mill utility refers to a way of understanding the results of people's actions. The utilitarian value, pleasures, and happiness. This means that usefulness of action is based on its promotion of happiness. Happiness is the experience of pleasure for the greatest number of persons, even at the expense of some individuals' rights. Jeremy Bentham begins by arguing that our actions are governed by two sovereign masters called pleasure and pain. These masters are given to us by nature to help us determine what is good or bad and what ought to be done and not. The principles of utility recognize this subjection and assumes it for the foundation of that system, the object of which is to rear the fabric of felicity of the hands of reason and of law. The principles of utility is about our subjection to these sovereign masters, pleasure and pain. Principles refers to the motivation of our action as guided by our avoidance of pain and our desire for pleasure. We do what is pleasurable, and we do not do what is painful. On the other hand, the principle also refers to the pleasure as good of and only if they produce more happiness than unhappiness. The principle of utility. Mill supports Bentham principles of utility. He reiterates moral good as happiness and consequently happiness as pleasure. Mill clarifies that what makes people happy is intended pleasure and what makes us unhappy is the privation of pleasure. Will argues that we act and do things because we find them pleasurable and we avoid doing things because they are painful. Classmate, look at the picture. Happiness differs from pleasure. Happiness has something to do with struggling and enduring and accomplishing. It means that pleasure has a difficult difference with happiness where it can wipe out all the difficulty in life and go through all the pain. Bentham and Mill characterized moral value as utility and understood it as whatever produces happiness or pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Theory of life prefers as the natural moral preferability of pleasure. In this statement, I have a lot of questions in my mind. Why is it justifiable to wiretap private conversation in instances or treason, rebellion, espionage, and sedition. Why is it noble to build school and hospital? Why is it preferable to alleviate alleviate poverty and or eliminate criminality? Why is it to improve quality of life and the like? There is no other answers than the principle of utility, that is to increase happiness and decrease pain. For Bentham and Mill, the pursuit for pleasure and the avoidance of pain are not only important principles, as they are in fact the only principles accessing an action's morality. Then, I have other question: what kind of pleasure is morally preferable and valuable? Are all pleasures necessary and ethically good? Does this mean that because eating or exercising is good, it is morally acceptable to eat and exercise excessively? While utilitarian supporters do not condone exclusive pleasures while others are suffering, it cannot be justified on utilitarian grounds why some persons indulge in extravagant pleasure at the expense of others. Bentham provide a framework for evaluating pleasures and pain. Philosophic calculus is a common currency framework that calculates the pleasures that some actions can produce. In this framework, an action can be evaluated on the basis of intensity or strength of pleasures, duration or length of the experience of pleasures, certainty or likelihood that pleasures will occur, and propinquity, remoteness, or how soon there will be pleasure. Consider two more dimensions: fecundity, or the chance it has of being followed by sensation of the same kind of purity of or the chance it has the being followed by sensation or of opposite kind. When considering the numbers of persons who affected by pleasure or pain, another dimension is to be considered: extent.